Is it working? Let me check. Yeah, I'm on the right thing. Okay. I think we're live. It just did this funky thing where it's like said I was live and then said it couldn't connect and so on. Hopefully we're live now. Hello. Okay, well, assuming we're live, I'm not just talking to myself randomly. Hello! Okay, good, it's working. Paper Vampire and Danny. Yeah, no, it's been kind of a rough week. As you can see, I've got heat pack on my neck here, and I've got another one down my back. I've got some pretty bad shoulder and neck pain and sort of just like upper back kind of area. That's from bonsai. Well, I think it's either from trying to lift things and like, you know, hunching over plants at bonsai, or I have some kind of secret double life where I go out and party and headbang a lot and then don't remember it in the morning. It could be that. I've also got some hot chocolate here and the marshmallows have just gone completely nuts. Hey, and we've got Charles as well. All right, so it's working. Yeah, I wasn't sure because last week's live stream wasn't that popular, and don't know if it's like overseas where the things are happening and I'm the only person who has, you know, the time to sit around or what. No, I was going to ask some questions. Okay, so well, one of my questions was like, how much do people still enjoy the live streams? Because I wasn't sure last week. I'm only awake because it's hot. Oh my gosh! So you would be hating the heat pack thing. It's nice and cool in here. With the heat pack and the hot chocolate and this horrible light. I'm probably going to get a little bit too hot at some point, but nothing like what's going on in Europe with the temperature there. We do have a drought in Sydney at the moment, so like you can only water the plants before 10 or after 4 p.m. and you have to use a hose with one of those trigger nozzles. You're not allowed to use a sprinkler. In other parts of New South Wales, it's worse. They're at the stage of if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. Gosh, it's been a while since we've had water restrictions. Like, we had water restrictions when I was a kid, you know? Just when we sort of got the whole, like, running under the sprinkler is fun kind of idea, suddenly water restrictions and you couldn't do that. So it's been a while. The other question I had is when should I, you know, you guys would have seen my trailer for the Free Space 2 game thing. I don't know when to put that video out. I was like, oh, maybe I should do it tomorrow morning because it'd be like Saturday and, you know, people might want to watch then. But on the other hand, gives no one time to catch up on the live stream. But yeah, no, how keen are people on seeing the Let's Play for that? And then I'm just going to film a whole bunch more. Oh, that was the thing about, you know, with live streaming. It was like, how much are people enjoying them? Because if I wasn't live streaming, in theory, I could film other stuff. But if people are still liking it, I'll keep doing it. Sorry, I am going to be distracted, easily distracted with this hot chocolate. Because, like, I made the mistake of putting 3 big marshmallows in it because, like, they come in white or pink. And I thought I put a white and pink in, but actually it was 2 white ones. So then I was like, well, I have to have at least 1 pink one. And now I've got too many marshmallows. So, yeah, you try and drink and all you get is like a mouthful of marshmallow. You like them? Cool. Yeah, well, we'll see how we go with the live streaming. I guess live streamings are still good. People are watching. Yeah, well, usually like when I turn it on, there's only like maybe 1 person waiting, if anyone. Today it's like 3 people waiting and I'm trying to get the thing working and so, you know. But yeah, cool. Yeah, so when should I put up this Let's Play stuff? Because the other thing is like once I put it up, I need to keep making the videos. Make sure. Oh my god, I filmed the Let's Play like 2 weeks ago, I think. More than 2 weeks ago now, so I've got to, and like, you know, at the end I do the training thing, and I got to remember how to actually fly the damn thing. I might have to watch my own Let's Play just to remember how to do the controls. But yeah, no, the video, like the trailer, I'm happy with how the trailer went out. You do want to see more of that game? Cool. Tomorrow is fine, videos don't spoil. Yeah, okay, I'll put it up tomorrow morning. I might, like, schedule it so that it goes up, like, while I'm asleep, because this pain in my neck and shoulders is so bad. It's so hard to concentrate on anything. But yeah, so I love Free Space too. It's such a fun game. But yeah, I just gotta make sure I know how to fly the thing again because it was 2 weeks ago. But you know, it's like riding a bike, right? Except with your keyboard. Anyway, so I'll be doing some gaming, which I think will be good because I've been kind of moody and kind of just wanted to play video games this week. I ended up playing Age of Mythology again last night. And yeah, lost pretty early a couple of times, but then in that last one, I was like, we were just sending constant armies against each other, and it wasn't going anywhere. So I ended up finding out where their market was and destroyed their market, like their ability to trade for gold, and that's when I finally was able to take over. Did I miss a comment there? Pull your shoulder. Yeah. Oh, it's fucking terrible, isn't it? I've got, so if I'm like wiggling around on this chair, that's part of the reason I'm filming in here too, is like so I can push the heat pack. There's this sort of square heat pack halfway down my jumper. Push it against this chair, and you know, I was just like, I am not sitting on the floor today because this is painful. A bit better than I was yesterday because I worked on Wednesday, woke up with all the pain on Thursday, and then today's Friday. Oh man, I try really hard to you know, lift properly. You know, you're supposed to bend your knees and all that, but the thing with bonsai is like they're not all one shape or one size, and you know, we're working on some quite big ones, and you know, you're trying to lift the pot, and you've got to be careful because you don't want to drop it because it will break. And then like you've got this tree with all its branches coming in your face, and you're like, how do I pick this up in a way that's going to be safe and also not get a bunch of twigs in my face? And I think that just makes it harder to position your body in the right way to pick it up properly. My dad, especially like when we were younger, he had a lot of back problems, and then he had like some surgery. I don't know when. Oh gosh, we still had that. The family still had that beach house. That was ages ago. I don't even remember when that was. Wow. Yeah, no, he had surgery, and now his back's better, but he's still got to be careful. Oh my god, the boys in this family sort of overdo things, and I count my dog in that. My dog, he's still got his own back pain that flares up every now and then. This morning, I had to bring him into my bed for an hour and just pat him, and so I didn't get that last bit of sleep I was hoping to get. I didn't get. But I feel like he's maybe sort of coping with it a bit better, but I don't know. I might have to take him back to the vet and get that X-ray back brace at work. I want to go back and play some Nintendo. Oh my god, Super Nintendo! Metroid and Zelda. Yeah, we had Super Nintendo. I think we got Super Nintendo like just before Nintendo 64 came out. Oh dear. And but no, we had I think Donkey Kong Country and the like Super Mario. It had like the 4 games in one or something. Did we have anything else? Probably not. But Mikey used to like one of the 2-player games in the Super Mario where like you're fighting another person. And then if you fight for too long, the ghost comes and tries to kill you both. And we give Mikey one of the controllers, and of course he had no idea what he was doing, but he thought he was playing, and that was pretty cool. Haven't done that in a while. Tried it on the Wii because we've got like that Wii game that has the bowling on it, and he loves bowling in real life. So Classic NES has the original Zelda motors. Yeah, I heard about the little, like they have the box that has a gazillion games on it. Donkey Kong Country was a good one too. Yeah, back then though, I was really bad at the whole gaming thing. I would panic a little bit, especially at the boss levels. So I'd get my other brother Dave, I'd get him to finish those levels because I would just panic. And I think I didn't understand the logic of video games back then, whereas now I would be a lot better at doing that. And you know, with Free Space too, right? I've finished the game multiple times. Dave, who is the one with like the good reflexes and never got scared of the bosses and so on, he's never finished Free Space too. The reason for that is there's one level really close to the end. I think he might have even been like one level away from the final level. There's one where you need a bit more patience, and it's more of a surgical kind of thing that you're doing, and he's not really good with the patience things. So 8-bit games are the hardest. Oh my god, have you played Super Meat Boy? That game was fun. I don't have access to it anymore, though. I played that while I was living out west with my ex, and you know, he used to play Xbox all the time. But if I was playing Xbox, then hey, I don't know. Let's not get into that. But the game was good. I like the fact that anywhere you go, you leave a meat trail, and then when you die, the meat trail stays there. And then when you finally finish the level, it plays all your replays at once, and so it's just like this bloody meat trail everywhere. That was pretty good, especially because I was bad at it. Yeah, yeah, all the deaths. That's what I'm talking about. It's so good. But yeah, that was on the Xbox out that way. We've got a PlayStation 3. Haven't heard of it, check it out. Yeah, Super Meat Boy. It's really fun. And I like that it's one of those old school games where it's actually difficult. You know, like these days, some of the games, I mean, I haven't played that many. Maybe the most recent game I played that was a bit more action oriented might have been Dragon Age. I think even Dragon Age 2. I know I finished Dragon Age. And then I think I started Dragon Age 2, but I didn't like the way they changed some of the interface and whatever. But yeah, and I don't remember if Dragon Age had difficulty settings, but it was more like you got to get through the thing, and it didn't feel as challenging as something like Super Meat Boy, those old school games. So yeah, I really like those older ones. I've sort of wanted to pick up some of my old Game Boy games, but the problem with Game Boy is, you know, they had the little battery inside, and the batteries in most of those games are dead. So, I mean, I guess I could, if I really wanted to, I could try and open them up and put new batteries in, but I don't know. I still haven't fixed my DSLR camera, which I have the bits for somewhere. Hopefully I haven't lost them. And I feel like I should try repairing one of those before I open up a... Dragon Age has fake difficulty. SMB just requires... Super Meat Boy just requires practice and skill. Come back, comments. It makes the comments go so fast. Fake difficulty. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but yeah, I just didn't get the impression that it was that. They have some build your own Game Boy kits that I want to get. Yeah. I still got my stash somewhere. And then, like, you know, not just Game Boy games, Game Boy Advance as well. Just dice rolls. Most recent game I played was GTA 5. Yeah. I don't play so many of those, you know, super 3D action games, though. Dragon Age I was able to handle, but I did play his, he had that Call of Duty game, and there was also, like, some kind of Wasteland game. I forget what it's called. Maybe I don't remember, but it was like a sort of first-person shooter type game, and a long time ago when Pokemon Diamond and Pearl came out, I got the Diamond version. I was just so disappointed by that game. Like, Pokemon was my main game that I used to play all the time, and I was just so disappointed by it that I kind of quit gaming for a few years, and just stopping the Pokemon, I found when I came back to gaming, I couldn't really handle the whole 3D graphics thing anymore, and I would just get kind of sick. So today's modern graphics, I'm kind of reluctant to play any of those kinds of games because I do start feeling ill. I noticed I didn't feel that with Free Space 2 when I was filming the Let's Play, which I guess I'll put up tomorrow. Yeah, I think because, like, I mean, for one thing, the graphics are very old school, so they're not overdoing the... Is it the realism that makes me sick, or... I don't know, because, like, you know, if you think about your brain's trying to sort itself out in terms of being in a different world, and I wonder if it's too real, maybe my brain goes, blah, or maybe it's just something else in there, that, or maybe it's not real enough, like it's sort of on that borderline between looking fake and looking too real. Yeah, the motion, it could be anything, really, but for some reason, Free Space 2 doesn't do it, and I think it could be related to the reality of it, but also, it's in space, and you kind of don't feel like you're moving. Like, if you go in one direction, some of the nebulae in the distance do start to seem closer after a while, but it's quite slow. In Free Space, the background is mostly just black. Yeah, so there's that. Although I have flown in the past, like, you know, quite long distances in that game, and it's amazing how far away you can get. I don't even remember if there was a limit. But the further away you fly, the further you have to come back to the action, so it's kind of a pain. I mean, oh, I probably shouldn't spoil it just in case in case some of you haven't seen the ending. Maybe when I film the final level, when I finally get up to that, I'll tell you one thing I did a long time ago. Because yeah, if I talk about it, it'll tell you what the end of the story is. Anyway, so games. Yeah, no, I wanted to play some Game Boy Advance games because I really liked Game Boy Advance. I had the Game Boy Advance SP, so the one with the light up screen. But you know, today with the light up screens, if you go out in the sun, you have to turn the light up like really bright. Whereas with the old Game Boy, the way it made images is if you were in the sun, it would actually reflect the sunlight so that you could light it that way, and you could just turn off the screen and you would be able to see it perfectly. I miss that type of screen. So yeah, Game Boy Advance SP, I miss that. I love flight simulators, I have thousands of hours in aircraft sims. Oh yeah, I watch so much air crash investigation that I almost feel like I could fly a plane, but I probably shouldn't because I don't have the best eyesight. Crashing planes in flight sims, yeah. Oh my god. Well, a long time ago, what was it? They had Sega World in Sydney. Fuck, that was a long time ago. And there was the Michael Jackson ride. My memory may be like mixing up things, but I remember it as the Michael Jackson ride, and it was like you get in this sort of spaceship thing, and then you all have your little guns and you're shooting things on the screen, and then I think whoever gets the highest score has to fly the plane and land it. But like they don't really give instructions on how to do that. So when we went on it, I got the highest score in terms of shooting all these things, and it's one of those big things that moves. You're like, and you're trying to shoot all these things on the screen, right? And I got the highest score. I had to land the plane or whatever spaceship we were in, but there were no instructions. And yeah, I crashed us. I wasn't trying to crash us. I wasn't trying to kill everyone, but yeah. What did I miss? Oh my god! Every time I click that, it comes up with this other thing. It's really annoying. Games don't look like games anymore. Have a fable for early 2000s. What? Early 2000s games. Yeah, I feel like games were more exciting back in the day. When your computer took like an hour to load one level of Free Space 2, or that might be an exaggeration, I don't know. But now you'll see when I put the Let's Play, like the full Let's Play up, the loading screen is like you barely have a chance to see it. But yeah, no, back then, I don't know, they just seem more exciting. I think maybe now because there are so many games that it's kind of just like, oh yeah, another game came out. And some of I mean, I haven't been playing a lot of games. I probably hardly played any since I broke up with the dude. You miss the suspense? Yeah, maybe. But yeah, no, I don't know. I just like, I hear things about games, right? And I hear things about DLC and some companies doing some dodgy stuff that's just designed to get more and more money. And I kind of like, you know, like back in the day when you bought a game and it was finished and you didn't have to worry about all this extra shit, having to pay for things, whereas now they release like half a game and then you have to add all this extra stuff. And it's a bit like, if I'm going to buy a game, I want it to be a game that is like, it's done. It doesn't need anything else. Whereas if I'm playing on my phone and I'm playing a shitty mobile game, okay, sure, I understand microtransactions because like I paid nothing for the game, and what I would pay for is like extra assets within it. I don't really understand people who pay for those things, but as a business model, I mean, all you need is a whale, right? A couple of big people who just spend heaps on the game and you're sweet. Resident Evil 1 and Doom, I didn't play those. Pay to play add-on bundles. Yeah, okay. Games used to be an artistic vision. Now they're just products. Yeah, there's all that. I mean, when I was looking up things about gaming, how to do gaming channels and so on, I stumbled on one about how to start an indie gaming studio, and it sounds like one of the reasons people like indie games is that, you know, the game creators have that more traditional focus on games as like being creative and actually being fun to play and not having all this frustrating bullshit. There's a mech game I like, but they want 50 for... Oh my god, really? That's insane for a digital asset that you're going to use for what, a year at best? Like, if you really, really like the game? Fuck. Oh my god. Yeah. I don't know, I just hear about all this ridiculous stuff. I mean, you know, when I'm talking about microtransactions, I'm talking about like, you know, paying extra for a handful of tokens, but like not $100. Can't compete unless you waste thousands of dollars. Oh my god. me online. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, this isn't video games, but I used to play Magic the Gathering again with my ex. We did like all this crap that I did because he was shit at bonding once I moved out there. Anyway, no, Magic the Gathering, right? If you want to be competitive, you've got to buy all these expensive damn cards. I did find my card collection though. And when we broke up, I think I took like all the best ones and just left him with, all the extra stuff. I don't think I have any like land cards or anything, so like I couldn't actually construct a deck, but I just kept the cards that I like the most and let him keep all the garbage. Because I don't plan on playing again. Oh my god, MTG is cardboard crack. I spent thousands of dollars on that, I reckon. And I didn't even have a great job while I was living out there. I still kept having to come back home like that. That's so far away, and I couldn't get a job out there. So yeah, every weekend I'd come back home, stay with my parents to go to work. And then play D&D and Shadowrun. I didn't have friends to play with. I don't know what Shadowrun is, but I did play Dungeons and Dragons once. And I don't know. I wasn't that into it. I used to RPG a long time ago. That's where a lot of the character development for the more fictionalized version of the Destroyer was developed. And the way we did that is like Dungeons and Dragons, right? You have dice and you have one person who's basically directing the story. Now, the way we RPG was more like a free-for-all. You had your characters, but you also wrote the story like as a free-for-all. You didn't have dice. You just sort of decided what would happen and sort of waited for other people to decide what would happen next. It was really futuristic D&D cyberpunk. Is that Shadowrun? But yeah, no, ours was more like collaborative story writing in a way, except you had ownership over your own characters, and then everyone would take turns being the bad guy, inventing a bad guy. Or my character being what it is would kind of become the bad guy because that was just my thing. Yeah, okay. Anyway, I guess I found Dungeons and Dragons a little bit frustrating because there wasn't that much creative input, and like we didn't even finish it because one of the people in the group was just like basically like a Leroy Jenkins type. Cyberpunk to steam. I like cyberpunk more than steampunk as well. I'm not so like I can understand the steampunk aesthetic, but if I had to choose, I'd go for the cyber thing. God, I miss my Cyberlock so much. And I've been looking up how to become an extra and all that, and they're all like all these photos of people with normal hair, and I'm like, oh, I suppose if I wanted to do that, I probably shouldn't do the Cyberlocks thing again. But no, I'm just reading a whole bunch of stuff about how to get into extras in acting work. I don't know why. I don't actually plan on doing any of this stuff, and I'm probably just going to do it as an interest thing and think about it and then be like, yeah, nah, because it does sound like being an extra is kind of boring. Like you stand around for ages waiting for a scene to happen, and then, they're doing other things and you have to wait around for a little bit longer. But no, I keep seeing in the job ads things coming up. You'll probably have a lot of fun. I don't know, because there's a lot of sitting around. I could take a book, I suppose, but yeah, and then trying to find an agency. Because I have this job alert set up, and I keep seeing jobs come up for these agencies, but when you actually look at their websites, they're like, oh, by the way, here's a membership fee, or you have to get photographs with our people, and it costs this much. You can't bring your own photos. And to me, I've been trying to research whether or not these are scams, and I did try asking a question in our Facebook group, but I think no one has replied. Yeah, maybe they're not so keen on helping noobs out. But anyway, just sort of thinking about that. I'd love to be in a Kevin Smith movie. Jay and Silent Bob reboot is coming out in a couple of months. I have no idea what anything is in what you just said. I have no idea who those people are or what the movie you're talking about is, because I don't watch a whole lot of movies. Oh my god, I'm getting close to finish this hot chocolate. Because it's winter in Sydney, and I was just like, hey mum, we should get some hot chocolate. And that's what happens when the Never Seen Clerks. No. But this is what happens when I'm allowed to go grocery shopping. For a while, I was kind of banned from going grocery shopping because I'd be like impulsively grabbing whatever. I almost grabbed the Pop-Tarts, but I thought, I'm not really in a Pop-Tart mood. But yeah, I was like, hey Mom, do we have drinking chocolate at home? So now I've got the hot chocolate. I've got 2 scoops of the drinking chocolate and 2 scoops of Milo in this. And then, yeah, the 3 marshmallows, which have sort of disappeared. Wow, hot chocolate. Okay, well, that's a ramble. Just buy drinks and snacks. Yeah, well, I don't want to leave the house. So, okay. Yeah, no, I've had a really bad week. Oh my god, are you having problems with autocorrect? Wow, I've got a friend who's really bad with autocorrect, and some of the stuff that she writes is just like, what? How did your phone even think that was what you were trying to say? It's bizarre. But yeah, that damn you autocorrect website is pretty funny. Some of the things it makes people say. Yeah, no, what? So what happened? Tuesday, I woke up feeling really, really awful. I think because I didn't sleep very well. I think I had like 3 or 4 hours of sleep that night, maybe less. I didn't feel rested and all that kind of stuff. And I think I kind of just had this emotional collapse. So let's go to some depressing stuff now. Yeah, I woke up and I was just feeling really, really crap. And I think part of it is just like because Hope had his issues and I was really worried about that, I just didn't get a whole lot of sleep in the lead up. And then I really didn't get much sleep. So when I woke up, I was just like, fuck everything, life is shit. I guess that's maybe why I'm looking at this acting extra stuff, even though I don't think I'll actually do it. Because when I have those moments of emotional collapse, I sort of think like, you know, my life's not going anywhere. My life is really boring. You know, there's a bunch of stuff that I try to do, but my life's really just me sitting at home most of the time at the moment. And I feel like I should do something about it. So it's like, what should I do? And there's not really anything. And I think one of the problems on Tuesday is like, especially when I'm in that headspace, I can't think of anything that I would want to do. Terrible day at work today. They fired your supervisor? I've been depressed the past couple of days. When I get home, I have no one to hang out with. What did I fire your supervisor for? But yeah, no, I think I struggle to experience things like excitement properly, but also when I'm in that state of mind, like, you know, really tired, and I try to I think I try to be positive. I'm not sure how much it's conscious. It's just like when I'm in that really bad headspace, it's hard to remember what I was thinking previously. So like right now, I'm doing okay. I'm in pain, but I'm doing okay. The lead was talking shit about him to the manager behind his back. Okay, so sort of like work politics. That's always fun. Yeah, anyway, hang on. Let me finish this because it's heaps distracting. Let me try not to drink it too fast. Oh my god, eating back hurts so much. I'm such a cripple at the moment. Alright. Yeah, no. So right now I feel okay. But I know on Tuesday, I would consider today's mood to be me artificially trying to make myself act and feel like I'm better than I am. But actually, I think this is pretty genuine where I'm at. So it's kind of interesting how in different moods, I'm sort of disconnected from what I was thinking in a different mood. I don't know, it's weird. I don't know if I'm explaining it very well. When I was depressed all the time, I almost preferred being in pain because it distracted from the depression. Yeah, I'm not enjoying being in pain at all. It sucks. Yeah, no, Tuesday was really bad. I even wrote a thing on Facebook. Let me open that up. Oh my god. So yeah, I slept badly and I ended up with a horrible headache. And yeah, so what I'm feeling today, I've described as crumbling strategies, or my already crumbling strategies to try to deal with the empty void of life. Which I think I think this is just the difference between different moods, and when I'm in different moods, I find it difficult to connect how real those moods are. You know, it's a bit like the being a different person and, you know, having access to different memories, because when you are depressed, you're more likely to remember things that are negative. So I wonder if that's related. Anyway, so I also tried, I knew I was feeling shit that day, and I'm like, I need to try and do something with my day, because the night before, oh my god, that's the other thing. I had stayed up late the night before. I had gone to bed at 1 a.m. So that was probably my own fault. But yeah, I was up that late because I was finishing my new song. My new song's finally finished, and my plan was, okay, in the morning I'm gonna warm up my voice and then do a run through at full voice, instead of just like croaking along. When I'm trying to sing things late at night, if I get up to a growling bit, then instead of being like roar and being loud and waking people up. Yeah, Charles, you I think you would have seen on Patreon I posted a thing. So you can listen to me actually doing this quiet singing. So instead of me going run, waking everyone up, I would be doing the more like Fry kind of thing, like rah, waking everyone up, rah. Yeah, the late night recording. And I think, yeah, I probably wasn't doing it as Fry screaming though. I think it was more like just croaking along, wah, 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 and as opposed to rah, rah. Oh, I was doing it better before. I don't know, with that sort of quiet Fry scream. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know how to make it consistent. Anyway, so I stayed up late and I was like, well, Tuesday, I wanna do all that practice, and then I didn't because I was feeling awful. And so what I said, I tried dressing in jeans instead of track pants. Like I'm wearing the track pants today. I'm in pain. I can dress lazy. But yeah, no, I tried dressing in jeans because jeans are uncomfortable, so you don't really want to sleep in them, and they also like just physically sort of trying to give myself a signal that I should be doing something with my day, but it didn't work. I went to bed wearing my jeans, including wearing the belt. I was just like, you know what, life sucks, screw it, I'm going back to bed. So I spent most of that day in bed, just sort of feeling like garbage. So yeah, that sucked. Yeah, so I was just feeling really mopey that day and sort of wondering, like, what do I actually enjoy in life? Now that I'm feeling fine, okay, what do I enjoy in life? Let's try and think of some stuff while I feel okay. And I think at the moment, the main thing I'm enjoying is mucking around with my voice. So I was playing with it a bit earlier today because over the weekend I did kind of like make a bit of progress, sort of with I don't know, like I don't remember how much I've said before, but like I was working on a sort of grit scream, and I think that might be what people refer to as power fry. I sleep in my clothes more often than not. Oh dear, it's just not comfortable though. Hey, there's a reason we have pajamas. But yeah, so I mean, I shouldn't be doing the whole screaming thing with the heat pack around my shoulders, but you know, because the regular fry that I've been trying to do, apparently that's referred to by some people as a whisper scream because it's quite soft, like rah, rah. That's weird. I'm okay at it first thing in the morning, but I lose it later in the day. Rah. Ah, rah, whisper scream. It's so quiet though. It feels so dumb to do. But what? I was trying the thing where you go, you make that sound. So, uh-oh. Oh shit, I made the S sound. The dogs think that means that they should chase a bird. I hope he doesn't overdo it. Cause like chasing birds is how Hopi did his back in the first place. So I guess I just gotta keep an ear out, make sure he's not hang on, let me just have a look. I got this heat pack on my back. Let me just try and keep it there under the hunter. Dogs, I didn't name it! Okay. Hope, you alright? Oh boy, alright, I'm sorry, I won't do that again. Hopey, come, quick. No, okay. I'll put that aside, Oh my god, I'm sorry, I won't do that sound. Oh, that was silly of me. No. Yeah, they thought I was making the sound like, SIC kind of sound, because I held the S a little bit too long, and they're like, oh my god, that means there's birds we have to chase. I have trouble singing in key because I hear the resonance of my voice in my head over my projected voice. Yeah, one thing I've really struggled with vocals is knowing what I sound like to other people, because I used to sing a lot in that sort of mixed head voice. What's the song? What's the song that I would have done? Oh, I don't know. I don't want to open one up because, like, YouTube's copyright system's annoying, but it's just that high sort of and now I can do it more in like the chest voice and it just gives you a different tone. And I didn't realize that a lot of these singers were actually using more of a chest sort of belting voice, and that I probably sounded completely different. And like at music school, no one told me this. No one told me that's what it was. And like I was there back when, even if you weren't a performance student, you still had to do the performance ensembles, which is like being in a band kind of thing. And when I switched to singing, they were all like, oh, your voice is too soft for this. When they could have said, hey, it's your technique. You need to do more chest voice. Actually, it is possible to use your chest voice that high. You just haven't learned it yet. No one told me this. And you'd think that like other musicians would have, who are trying to teach a band group, they'd have some idea of the vocals. Terrible oral theory. Oh, I hated the oral classes. They were just like, I was bad at them. And like oh my God, the sight singing one was the worst as well. Yeah, and like, I don't know, for the degree I was doing, I don't know that it was really necessary to do that much, but hey, what do you know? Yeah, no, I was just sort of frustrated. Like now that I understand what's going on with my voice and like how other people are hearing it, yeah, I was just kind of annoyed that none of those people running those classes ever thought, hey, you realize your technique is like more of the sort of classical kind of way that, like not quite classical, because classical tends to use a lot more full-on head voice, which I don't really understand how to do it. I think if I sing along to Nightwish, like old Nightwish, I can sometimes get it more sounding like that. It's funny, like if I'm listening to a particular singer, I can mimic them better, but if I try and do it myself, sometimes it's just like, nah, I just do my own style. But yeah, no, I just didn't know that it was a different thing. That was frustrating. But now, even with like grouse, I don't know how people are hearing it. So, I Snapchatted me doing that whisper fry. Oh, oh, it's so weird. And alongside some of the other growls that I do, and my friend was like, I really like the fry one. And I'm like, really? It sounds so dumb to me. But she thought it was really good. And I'm just like, I really don't understand what I sound like to other people. I think I'm so I'm used to what I sound like in my own head, like, with the whole resonance against your skull. But also when I record it and play it back, all I hear is me. I can't hear what I sound like to other people. And that's the difficult thing. So when I'm doing this new sort of, whether it's power fry or I describe it as grit scream, I don't know if it sounds to other people the way that it's supposed to. So yeah, that's really difficult. I was also playing around with just adding a little bit of grit to my voice. So that was to Linkin Park. I was messing with. What was the song? Nobody's listening. Told you everything louder, but nobody's listening. So you can kind of get pitch, but have a bit of grit over the top of it instead of the full-on grit thing. Although I still feel like with the grit thing, I can hear a bit of pitch in it. And sometimes with fry, I feel like I can hear pitch, but maybe it's just an illusion, I don't know. That's why I think people sing better in the shower, because you can hear projected voice better. Well, it's got reverb, and reverb is one of those things that does help you hear yourself better. So often, is it what I was talking about before? I call it power fry, but it's probably wrong. Yeah, I kind of wonder, and hi Dark Orders, I kind of wonder if it's like what I think of as the grit scream is kind of related to power fry. Yeah, gosh, we covered a lot of stuff so far today. It's been a bit all over the place. I was actually just halfway through going through my terrible day on Tuesday, and somehow we ended up on singing again. I don't remember what path that took. Anyway, so yeah, I made some progress over the weekend with that singing. So now I feel like I can do a few different kinds of dirty vocals. So there's false chord, which is my usual. Hey! Mystic Ravenous got here late, hope all is well. Well, I had a pretty bad day on Tuesday, but I'll get back to that in a moment, I suppose. We're just talking about growling to start with. Well, right now, we've been through, like, talking about video games and talking about acting stuff, and now we're on the growls and stuff. Okay, so, to demo, false chord is my usual one. False chord is the vocal style that uses a lot of air. So if you want to do a long scream, it's not really the best one, but it is good for getting deeper sounds, and especially me being a small female, probably the one I want to use if I want to go really deep. Although, you know, the limitations of my body structure affect that. So false chord is like, yeah. If you want to try and make it higher, you kind of have to change the shape of your mouth, and I think if you put a bit more air through it, and then you can also play with things. I think you can get a bit of pitch into it and kind of transition. A lot of people don't think it's possible, but like I can do this thing where I go between more of a head voice and that. So it's like, and it feels like it gets a bit of pitch in that way. But otherwise you just go. I saw the video game trailer. The bit about inserting disc 3 gave away the nostalgia and the terror of one of the many discs being scratched or ruined. Yeah, I'm probably going to post that tomorrow morning, Sydney time. We discussed a bit of that earlier. I wish I could have mastered circular breathing when I was playing trumpet full time. Oh my god, circular breathing. That's where you use like the cheeks, hey? It's a shame you can't use that in singing, but what can you do? Anyway, yeah, false chord. And then what? If you're trying to transition from a clean note, like a regular one, you just kind of push more air through, and yeah, that's my best growl method. I think it's just that, you know, you need a lot of air, and me being small, like my body is physically small, which means that my lungs are physically small, and you know, I can train my diaphragm all I want, but there's a certain point where I'm not going to be able to get any more out of my lungs. Like there's just that much capacity, and I would have to get a lot fatter, I guess, to, you know, give them a chance to go anywhere. I'm not sure what the limit is, but yeah, I love growling while playing the trumpet. Oh my god, that'd be such a cool effect. I've never tried playing trumpet. I kind of want to though, but I have too many instruments already that I kind of can't play, so I shouldn't do that. Okay, so that's the one growl style. The next growl style is that sort of whisper fry, which is like, you know, you start with the grudge sound. Let's just do like basic growling lessons today. Yeah, you start with the grudge sound, you know, for the grit thing, I recommend a high voice placement. Makes it easy to control and sound in my experience. Yeah, I don't understand. You can get a harmonic sound. With the fry things, like, you know, people are like, oh, use falsetto. The thing is, girls don't really have a distinct falsetto. Like, I think it's not as clear cut. Like with boys, you definitely know where falsetto is, but with girls, because head voice is kind of like, it just doesn't have that same kind of thing. So I don't really understand what people are trying to say. For me, with learning the fry kind of thing, like the regular one that starts from the grudge, is like, you know, you do that lighter voice explains it. Okay, but yeah, you know, The Grudge was such a stupid movie. I watched it in Japanese and English, and I was just like, yeah, okay, I'm not really a fan of horror movies anyway, so you're going to go, And the thing with that noise, you can make it kind of sound a bit higher, like, but it's the really, like, I wonder what your neighbors are thinking when you're growling and stuff. Just think of Cradle of Filth. I don't listen to Cradle of Filth. Buffy! Yeah, she was in the American one, hey. No, what I found with the grudge noise, right, because no one really, on the internet, no one really explains how you turn that into more of the fry thing. I mean, there's that falsetto thing people talk about, but for me, I imagine the sound kind of going backwards, and then lift it up, and then from there you can play with it and sort of mess around. Oh, there was that good tutorial. There was one good tutorial on YouTube that kind of explained all the steps in a reasonable way. But you know, ultimately it's just like mucking around. So me, but it's very quiet and it feels really stupid. And to me, it sounds dumb when I do it. You know, I know other people get a nice tone, but I don't feel like I do. I feel like I just sound like a pterodactyl. How are your astronaut parents? Oh dear, planning more holidays. That's how they are. And sometimes I can get it to this odd loud space. The problem with the heat pack is like it kind of weighs down. I really need like a massage. But we had this like massage chair, but I think it got thrown out. Oh no, and now I'm shifting into the other one. Okay, so Whisper Fry is just like playing around with the sound. It is kind of weird and dumb, but apparently people use it for fucking metal. And I don't know, because I also clean sing, if you're on the microphone, right, if they've got the compressor on properly, then it's fine if you make those smaller sounds. And also good engineers will ride it a little bit. You know, they won't necessarily be able to predict what you're about to do, but they'll be able to adjust. Some soundies walk away. I've been a soundie. Yeah, if you've got a good sound, I mean, one of the things I loved when I was doing the live sound thing, like I only did it as an intern. They gave me free food and whatever, and I got some experience. There was this one girl who was playing, I picture walking around the neighborhood in space. There was this one girl, she had an electric guitar distorted through her amp, and then she was singing, but she was singing kind of this ethereal kind of stuff, and then she'd go for these huge, like, you know, she'd have like the normal singing kind of bits, but then she'd have these huge long notes. Whenever she did that, I'd like get the reverb and just add a chunk of reverb, and it'd just make it sound like this sort of space kind of thing, and then bring it back down when she came back to the more of the regular singing. And it was a lot of fun, and I got a lot of positive comments from it, from what I did with the sound. But that's me being a sound engineer. I haven't done it in a long time. Not for anyone else. I only do it for myself now. Just in the studio, if you can call this a studio. But yeah, no, with the Whisper Fry, right, if you're only doing fry screaming, then the engineer can set the level, and you know, they can pretty much keep that level for your entire set. But if you're doing anything else, or God help you, if you're swapping a mic with someone, I saw there was this local Sydney band where they had their regular screamer, but then every now and then they get a guest screamer for one song, and that guest screamer would use the regular screamer's microphone. But his scream was more like, I think, the Power Fry or Grit Scream thing that we're going to get onto. His fry was so loud that when he gave the microphone back to the other guy, who I think was using the Whisper Scream, you couldn't hear him anymore. The Whisper Scream would just die. The regular fry, it wasn't there anymore. And the sound engineer just didn't get it and wouldn't turn the volume back up, having turned it down for the loud person. So yeah, you know, like, you want to be careful with some of the method that you choose, because once you get on stage, if the sound engineer isn't paying attention or doesn't know what they're doing, you could be fucked. And there's this other band in America at the moment where it's a girl vocalist. She sings clean instead of that chest voice thing. But then she goes into the fry screaming, and every time that happens, I haven't seen a live video of them yet where they get the sound right. You can hear her perfectly when she's singing, but the moment she does that fry, that whispery kind of fry, it disappears. You can barely hear any of it. And it's really disappointing. On the record, it sounds fine, but when they're live, not so much. And there's actually a band in Melbourne where something similar kind of happens, except the vocalist tried to compensate by trying to increase the volume of their screams, and it didn't sound good at all, because at a certain point with that Whisper Fry, you come back to your regular voice. So if I try to make it louder, let me just get the sound in. So we're doing the grudge noise, then we're going to pull it back into that sort of higher fry sound, and then I'll try and increase the volume. So hang on, without going into the other fry. It just turns into a note, because I mean, you can see explanations on actual vocal teacher channels. They describe like with the fry, what's happening is like you've got your vocal cords, and you know, in regular speech and so on, they sort of wiggle around, but when you're doing that fry sound, it's a very small gap, and you're just pushing air through, a bit like when you go with your lips, right? You're only letting a little bit through, and then they're kind of vibrating against each other. That's what's happening down your throat when you're doing I'm not very good at it, obviously. So when you start putting more air through it and you get more vibrations, it starts getting back to normal sound, and that's another problem. So it's hard to kind of maintain that sound if you don't know what you're doing. But when you watch some of these vocal teachers, one of the annoying things is they don't explain. Sometimes they don't even mention that it is a quiet sound. And they then, you ask them, how do I get louder? You see those comments, and then people are like, oh, you just have to practice. I'm like, no, it's not really. It's actually a different technique I've found between that basic fry that people call whisper fry and at least what I think might be power fry. They're actually vibrating different parts in here, I feel. It does not have to be quiet. The mistake people make is that the only thing about fry, people have to sing first and then fry over it. That's how it gets louder. I don't think that's what it is. I think it's actually a different set of vibrations. So I think the whisper fry, what I'm experiencing with the whisper fry is it's just, I don't know how to explain it exactly, but I feel like I'm just doing the grudge noise and I've pulled it back a little bit. Whereas when I'm doing what I think might be power fry, I actually feel a different set of vibrations. Hang on. Oh, it's actually in the top of my mouth, I think. I feel the vibrations in a different spot. So, with that that actually does get loud. And the way I learned that though is I would sing like a regular note, like ah, and then I would start bringing in the distortion. So just before I was singing the Linkin Park song, so what is it? Told you everything loud and clear, but nobody's listening. And you've got pitch in there, right? And then what you want to do is take the pitch away, but it's a different technique. It's not that I'm not using the same thing that I'm doing when I'm doing that regular fry. It's this other grit that is vibrating somewhere else in my mouth rather than just my vocal cords pushing through a little bit of, you know. So I started off with just putting a little bit of distortion on my regular singing voice, and then I'm using that same feeling, and I will start with the regular fry sound because that kind of, some of the teachers, they talk about how, with the vocal fry, it's actually a different register, and, I think what they mean is like you want to think about that same feeling when you're doing the regular, like rah, you want to have that kind of feeling, but then you're actually using different parts of your vocal anatomy. And unfortunately, I'm not a vocal teacher, so I don't know exactly which part they mean. But didn't one of them commit suicide? What are we talking about now? Oh, Linkin Park. Yeah, I think so. It was was it a couple years ago? I don't know. My concept of time is really bad, but yeah, no. That was pretty messed up. Unfortunately, a lot of those, like, people who get famous and so on, there's a lot of pressure on their lives. And then also, like, mental health's a big problem in society generally at the moment. So, because life sucks. Tuesday, I mean, we've gone way off topic from my Tuesday, but, the world is kind of fucked up. Like, on the upside, medicine's improved and all this kind of stuff, so we live longer. There are certain diseases we don't have to deal with. We also live in a period of relative peace, so we don't have to go to war really so much. There's a lot of improvements that have been made to the world, but then there's all this other bullshit, and then just the sort of meaninglessness of everything. I don't know. But that's some depressing stuff. Anyway, so with the power fry thing, I think I sort of connected what I was doing with the sort of whispery fry kind of stuff and what I was doing with the adding distortion to my regular singing voice. And so I'm taking the grit style from the regular singing thing that I've added, and I'm using more of the placement of the fry thing. Now, with the fry thing, I sort of see it as two different things because, if I did the grudge sound, you can lift it higher. So when people are saying use falsetto with fry, to me, I feel like it's a little bit confusing, like it doesn't really describe what it is. It's just like, to me, there's two different basic fry sounds. One is the grudge one, and you lift it higher. And then there's the one where you sort of pull it back a little bit, or if you want to use the falsetto, adding a bit of air thing. to me, they feel and sound slightly different. And then there's the one where you add the grit from the regular singing one. And that actually sounds loud, but it does feel different. Open sinuses are very important to get that resonance and control. Daniel Heyman is a guy that not only is one of the best singers out there, but does fry loud and effective, makes me angry. Well, see, I think fry is a deceptive term because, I mean, the thing about screaming theory is it's relatively new, so I don't think people have quite settled on the terminology. So fry, I mean, if you look at Voice Hack's channel, I think Voice Hacks is probably one of the better ones because I feel like she genuinely cares about giving some information out, and she's actually, you know, she's selling her private lessons, but she's willing to give all the other information out pretty much for free, which I think is quite admirable. I don't understand everything she says, though, because she doesn't explain everything quite so well, and if you're a beginner, it can be very difficult to figure out where to start. And that's one of the things, it's taken me a long time to really understand what all these people are talking about. And so with understanding, like me getting an idea of power fry, I'm sort of like, oh, these guys have completely fucked up their terminology. They're telling us stuff that's just conflicting and confusing. So with fry, her definition of fry is anything with the vocal cords closed and sort of touching and so on. Whereas false chord is with them open. So that you have to push a lot of air through because you're vibrating a different part of the throat and you've got your vocal cords open, and that's why you can't make it go for so long. But for her, anything with cords closed is considered fry. And I think that's what makes things confusing, because when I'm doing the quiet fry versus the loud fry, I am feeling it in different places. I'm feeling the main vibrations in different places. And I think that's what's difficult. And that's why I went for grit scream as my original way of describing what I thought I was doing, because to me, it was taking that grit from like going, ah, taking that grit and then just turning that into a scream. So grit scream made more sense to me, but now I'm starting to understand that might be what people mean by power fry, because I've also heard people describe power fry as combining the regular fry with false chord, which, if you go by the definition of Voice Hacks with the open chords and closed chords, doesn't make sense because you can't do both at the same time. So I think what's actually happening is you're using the closed vocal cords, because I can do these kinds of screams for longer. You're using that, but you're vibrating a different part of your anatomy, and it actually gets loud. And then, like, you know, I don't know, you would have to get one of those tubes down your throat. I don't know how much they stay closed in that. Like, why is it easier to do that power fry without accidentally going into a regular note? You know, if you go, ah, ah, as you try to go louder. Why, when I do it like, ah, 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 I'm losing the fry. Ah, ah, why does that give you a different effect and you don't go into the note? I definitely feel like it's sort of up in the top of my mouth, sort of around there maybe, somewhere is where I'm feeling the vibrations when I drive it into that louder sound. With that one, I don't really feel it at all, but it sort of feels like it's further down here. And then when I drive it, it feels like it's higher up somewhere. So yeah, that's what I've been working on with my voice. And I feel like there's, to me, they talk about two primary types of screaming. I feel like there's three, just from my own experience of doing it. So yeah, I don't know if that helps any of you guys who might be playing, and whether I've just got you sitting wherever you're sitting making strange noises now. That would be kind of funny. I don't know. I just sort of like, I hope I'm sort of explaining roughly what I'm doing. I have toyed with the idea of teaching screams one day, but I really feel like I need to understand it better and have some ability to explain it before I can. I get it, you're right. Cool, okay, so that makes sense. I feel like you have some background information in screaming though, so I kind of wonder how someone who doesn't understand anything about it might interpret it. And, you know, what chance would I have of actually being able to teach someone? And, I mean, oh, what's another school? So, do you guys know Rocky Music Studios? They've rebranded to RMS Vocal Academy or Vocal Institute, or I don't know. When they were Rocky Music Studios, they had a really big YouTube channel and so many good tutorials. But now, I don't know, they reckoned that YouTube took it down for copyright reasons, which may or may not be true. But the way they've handled it, I don't like, because they started their channel again from scratch. And they said they were going to re-upload a bunch of stuff, but they never did. And instead they're making fresh tutorials with this dude, and they haven't yet done a whole lot of information. To me, it's total gibberish, and my neighbors wouldn't like me making loud growling noises at 7 a.m. Yeah, I'm sorry if it's just been like a, what the hell is she talking about? Why is she making those strange noises? Anyway, RMS, I'm skeptical because I feel like maybe the link didn't go through, doesn't matter. Oh, did you try to link me to something? I don't know. I'm using the phone app, so I'm not sure if it like works the way that regular live streams are meant to. Yeah, no, RMS, Vocal Institute, or whatever they want to call themselves now. I mean, they've come up with their own like levels. They have levels R, M, and S, and I'm like, no, don't make up lame shit. No one cares about that. They even made a video explaining it, and I'm just like, no one cares. People followed your channel because you had amazing tutorials, and now they're all gone, and that's why you can't get anyone to subscribe to your channel, because it's just shit now. I feel skeptical about them because I feel like by their idea is if they don't give so much information, they can get you to sign up to their growling classes more easily, because that's the only way you can get information from them. And so I wonder, like, did their channel really get taken down by YouTube? Or did they decide they were giving too much away for free and take it down themselves? That's my conspiracy mind thinking, like, is this legit? Because they've just been doing such a terrible job of rebuilding their channel, and they're using this green screen that they don't know how to edit properly. So like all their videos look kind of garbage now, like they've washed it out, and I'm like, why would you use a green screen to make something look worse? Green screen's supposed to be there to make it look better. I don't understand. Anyway, but yeah, no, one of the things on their channel is like the way they approached Fry. They went for the quieter Fry, and I know someone who took classes there, and I feel like, yeah, I don't know that they really did good by teaching you the quiet version of Fry, especially if you want to switch between singing and growling. I think if you're doing singing, if you're switching between singing and growling, you probably want to either do false chord growling or more of a power Fry, grit scream kind of thing. I don't think regular Fry is really the best, especially if you want to be a live performer. If you only want to do studio, fine, you can do studio magic, that's easy. But if you want to be on stage, like don't trust every sound person. There are great sound engineers out there, but at a local level, it's a bit of a gamble. And, there's one venue in Sydney where the venue owner likes to do the sound, and like, okay, yay, and you're saving some money there, but you're kind of bad at it. So when you have someone doing your sound who's not great, you kind of want your screams to be loud. You don't want to be dealing with the quiet screams, unless that's the only thing you do and you don't need to switch volume while you're doing it. By the way, don't cup the mic, especially if you're one of those quiet screamers, because you get feedback. And if your vocals are already quiet and they've already turned up your mic, and then you're cupping it, that's just like, I just had the sort of sound engineer's PTSD moment. That's how you get feedback, and it sounds terrible. And oh my god, I've got a message on Facebook and it's not popping up. Hey, well, oh, hey, the Tom, okay, I think this is from Dark Waters. Yes, you've sent me something through. First 15 seconds it shows Fry very loud, the mic isn't even on. Okay, I'll have a look at that later, because I don't want YouTube to get upset with me, playing stuff in the background. Yeah, I'll have a look, and I'll see if it sounds like that sort of whisper Fry, or if it's more of that power Fry kind of sound. That's what I wrote before. Okay, yeah, I will have a look at that. But yeah, no, just being on stage. The thing is, I haven't quite gotten the hang of power Fry, like the full flexibility of it, so it'll be a while before I actually use it in a song. I just finished my other song, but I'm only using false chord, which is going to be really difficult because there's a lot of words and there's a long passages of false chord. So it's like, how do I breathe? I am going to be so dead on stage. I really need to get fit. It's a shame about like having sore shoulders and stuff at the moment, but once that settles down, I need to do some fitness. And hopefully I'm performing next month, so hopefully that'll give me some incentive to do a little bit more aerobic exercise. But yeah, I need to get better at the sort of power fry before I can use it in a song. Well, the reason I wanted to learn it is because with false chord, there's only so long you can do it for. I think in one of my videos, maybe explaining my This Fire Burns cover, maybe that one. Yeah, I think I explained, like, you know, how it's hard to do things. I hate training. Oh man, I'm so unfit. I think because I was depressed for a few years and I didn't do very much, I fell out of the habit and now I don't do much. I've got not much going on in my life, so it's hard to find excuses to be active, even in a sort of incidental exercise kind of sense. I don't go out very much. Also, I don't really have much of an income, so going places is kind of expensive and I get bored with regular exercise, so yeah. But no, if I'm singing la, I can't have be my scream on stage. It's just not gonna work. So it's better if it's like, you know, la. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Do I need to move some? That's la 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 da 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 da. Vegemite on toast. Just you and me and a cup of tea, blah blah blah. Kangaroo clothesline out the back, veranda out the front, and an old washing. Wait, an old. Okay, I'm what? Hey, oh, it's like heaps delayed. I wonder if I turn the sound on, would that be horrible? Hey, let's get some. I wonder if I turn the sound on, would that be horrible? Hey, let's get some. Oh man, this is so garbage. I don't know why this is happening. If I leave my sound on too long though, the feedback will get pretty annoying. Oh man, this is so garbage. What are you doing, YouTube? This is really dumb! Dumb! God damn it, YouTube! God damn it, YouTube! God damn it, YouTube! Yeah! The feedback at the beginning of old Doctor Who. Okay, well, I think it's playing now. Oh my god, if I did the like dun da 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 dun da 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 dun da 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 and then waited for the delay and then I could sing over the top of it, making a new song live on stream. Hell yeah! Oh man. Okay, well it seems to be working, so I'm going to turn off the sound again so we can get a bit more sanity. What was I talking about just before this? I don't even remember because that was super annoying. But oh, hey man. Hello everyone in the chat. Okay.
Whoa. Yeah, I don't know. It would be better if I had like two cameras, I think. Oh no, hang on. We're gonna get chatception. If I leave this screen up. How long before we get chatception? Hey, there's the next one! Hey! One more. Hey!
All right, that was a little bit silly. And back to waiting. Oh, is it not working again? I gotta type everything just to make sure you actually get. Oh, oh man, it's super distracting watching myself on that screen as well as on this screen. Okay, well, I think it's working. Yay! Okay, I will just close that because that's super distracting. Okay, and then I can just look at this one now and. Oh dear. Yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, I don't know. Oh my god. Yeah, vocal stuff, making some progress, trying to figure out how I would explain things to people. You just got a little demonstration of me mucking around with that sort of power fry and false chord. Oh, one thing I figured out how to do is I can transition from between false chord and this power fry kind of sound. So, that started with false chord and ended with the power fry. And then if I do that sort of, well, grit scream, whatever you want to call it, and if I start the other way, I can kind of go the other way. So that's kind of fun. I should really get a drink. Hang on, let me just get, here's the other heat pack that's been down my back because I have neck and shoulder pain. Sadly, not from head banging in my sleep. Sadly, that's just from bonsai, I think. Because, yeah, I'm small and I'm trying to lift things, and, yeah, it just doesn't quite suit my body type. And, oh, man, I also don't use these muscles very often, I suppose. But, I don't know, I must have done something really messed up to get like this, because usually what happens after bonsai is I'll just get a headache, and my brother said that's probably because when I lift stuff, I'm subconsciously tensing my head. And actually, with the grit scream, I think I've done a bit of that as well. People say, like, with grit scream, some people get headaches, and it's because they're not using air properly, but I think I'm fine with air. I think actually when I'm trying to make that sound, because I'm trying to concentrate because it's a new thing, I think I'm tensing up something in my head a little bit too much, especially when I try to overdo it. Yeah. So usually after bonsai, I get the headache. David Miller video for headbang. I don't think I've watched that one. I know the chocolate one. Da 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 chocolate, chocolate, da 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 da. Baby Metal's odd, like, you know, they have screams in there sometimes, and when you look at the videos, they make out like the lead singer is doing the screams, and I'm like, she's not doing those screams. Anyway, maybe one day she'll learn. Actually, they changed their lineup though, didn't they? They lost one of the backup singers, and so now it's like a two girl thing. No, I haven't been keeping up with them because, like, it's kind of fun at first, but after watching them for a little bit too long, it gets a bit much. Ugh. Anyway, so yeah, usually I get a headache after bonsai. And Dave reckoned it, because Dave is a really sporty guy. He knows about muscles and stuff. And he's like, yeah, you're probably tensing your head too much a little bit when you're trying to lift stuff. So I've been trying not to do that so much, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I lifted something a little bit weird. Anyway, so it's 3:20. Let me get back to. You can tell that they lip sync a lot of parts. Yeah. Let me get back to what my day was like on Tuesday. So Tuesday, my Moopy day. Oh yeah. So Tuesday, like I was having a bad day already. Then around. No, not fast. I made Milton. Yeah, around 2 p.m. is when I found out I didn't get that YouTube job, and like, you know, it wasn't the best day for me to find out because I was already kind of grumpy. So that was a little bit disappointing. But hey, I think like one of them, well, there's a lot of mistakes I might have made. Also, I don't know what kinds of people applied for that job, but you know my trailer, right? I like how my trailer turned out because everything matches up with the music pretty well. I did that on purpose, and it makes it look heaps exciting. Practice lifting bags of rice. I do that, you know 10-kilo bags of rice, but it's different because the shape's different. No, with with the YouTube, with the trailer, I think the trailer makes the Let's Play video look like it's going to be really cool, but actually when you watch it, it's a 30-minute video, and you guys know how I like to go on, and I just like kept everything in there. I probably could have edited it a bit shorter to be more exciting, but I go through like looking at the discs, I go through installing the thing and rambling about stuff. I do skip through some bits where I'm just waiting, and then at the trailer, I feel like I was trying a little bit too hard to have some energy, so I start like, reacting to the trailer a bit stupid, and I watch it back and I'm like, wow, why are you being so lame? And then we finally get up to the actual playing bit, and yeah, the playing bit's okay, but I left and saying, yeah, see, I couldn't do that. That's one of the reasons that I think a career in audio engineering wouldn't have been great, especially in live sound, because I can't lift so much stuff. It's just the physical reality. So even if I'm good at the technology, there's a limitation to what I can achieve. And if I don't have guys around to help carry stuff, it's a bit much. I also just it just wasn't for me. You need a roadie, yeah. Well, that actually, the last guy I dated, one of the most useful things was he used to carry all my stuff, for Rainbow Death Ray. Anyway, yeah, so I didn't get the YouTube job. It'll be interesting to see who they did get. I could have asked for feedback, they were really good about it and professional, but I was just like, nah, fuck it, I don't need to know. It's kind of a mixed blessing, because on the one hand, no money, and I could really use money. I kind of think what they're doing is pretty risky, and to some extent, they might be just throwing their money out, but it would have been nice if they were throwing their money out in my direction. But no, the upside of not getting the job is I don't have to stress about making content. I don't have to compromise my own channel. I can do things my own way. So, if I'm feeling grumpy when I'm doing a Let's Play, I can be grumpy. I don't have to have a particular kind of energy, and I can ramble if I want. So there's some silver linings. It's just I really need some kind of income, because it's hard to do stuff with life. There's things that I'd like to do, but I don't have the money for it. So, yeah. I mean, one thing, I've finished writing this new song, right? And then I've got to record it. And then I'm thinking I might mix it myself this time, because my music's rather minimalistic, and it sort of feels like a waste to get it properly mixed, but can I then master it? I don't know. I might have to pay for mastering. But one of the things that I'd like to do, because this song is a little bit more meaningful to me. I mean, the asexuality thing was more for the benefit of uni. And, unis tend to be a little bit more left-leaning. So if you choose one of those kinds of topics and play the game, you're more likely to get people interested and all that kind of stuff. But really with asexuality, I don't like the general community, and I don't really there's a lot of stuff I don't like, and then there was one particular community that I found especially toxic. So asexuality, I don't, it was good making making the songs, getting a shitload of stuff off my chest, even if people don't understand my metaphors, but it's not really a topic I want to pursue, whereas this song is more about more of the split personality kind of stuff and other shit that goes on in my head, and it feels more meaningful to me, and there are some hints to things that have happened in my life that I probably haven't talked about. So yeah, and I'm kind of like, oh, it would be cool to get a music video done for this. The only thing is, if I get a proper music video done, that's a few $1,000s. I need a new job. I don't like being the smartest person where I work. I'm not even that smart. Oh my god, are you in one of those idiocracy type situations? That's you're, yeah, I know that kind of feeling where you're working a job where it's just not intellectually stimulating, and you're around people who don't understand stuff, and then you solve a problem and they're like, whoa, how did you do that? And I'm like, I paid attention when the tech guy was here. That's how I did that. Never mind my retail history. Yeah, no, I need some kind of income to do stuff. Or I do everything myself and I make myself a crappy music video, which isn't the best. Although if I use a shit ton of effects, maybe I can do enough to fake it as a sort of DIY thing. This just keeps distracting, this bloody thing. Yeah, I don't know. It would be nice to do a kind of music video kind of thing, but to get it done properly is expensive, and I don't know if I'll be able to pull it off myself. Because, fucking so much stuff takes money, and I hate the gym, right? But in Sydney we've got Taronga Zoo, and Taronga Zoo has the Wild Ropes course. I like the Wild Ropes course, and it's like being at the gym, but more stimulating for your mind, but it's so much more expensive than the gym, and it's just like, oh, why is all the good stuff so expensive? I would do that though if I had the money to. Scary how just paying attention when it matters is like 90% of the work. Oh my god. Yeah, people just don't care. You know, like I know it's just a retail job or whatever, but you know, like I want to do my best with everything. I find it really hard to do a half-assed job. Yeah, how did we get onto that? Oh, the topic because I didn't get a YouTube job, yeah. No, I'm gonna be interested to see how they do it. I think probably my style is a bit too rough and real. I think they wanted more of that artificial polished thing because when they sent me, like, you know, I asked what kinds of channels, you know, are sort of they're aspiring to, and they sent me these ones that were super polished. Um, you know, like millions of subscribers on these channels, with really nice cameras and really well presented. The thing is, I don't know if they realize, but those channels have a team behind them. It's not one person making the videos. I'm the same way. Even if I hate the company, I still want to be a good employee. Yeah. Whereas my style, I'm just me doing my own thing. They did say they have cameras I could borrow, but for my sample, I just did it on this one. Because they wanted a 30 to 60-second sample video, I think I mentioned previously. So I sent them my trailer, but I also sent them the full version because I don't want to be dishonest about how I do things. So the trailer, I think, talks up the Let's Play and makes it look really exciting, whereas I think the actual thing maybe isn't so much. But they had also seen my more polished Punk Rave Australia videos, so you know, I don't know if my quality of technology and whatever was an issue. But another thing I wonder about is like, you know, when I was growing up, I'm 30 years old, just to remind people. A lot of people think that I'm like, you know, 18, or I've had people think I'm younger than 18. It's really bizarre. Because I don't think I look young, but apparently I do. I don't know. Yeah. So when I was at school, YouTube was barely even a thing. Like, when did YouTube even start? I don't know. It probably started like very late in high school and no one was watching back then. Whereas kids today get out of high school, they can go to uni and do courses in like social media and so on. So it's entirely possible that someone else who applied for this job has done an actual degree in it and they know heaps more from a more theoretical perspective, whereas my experience with YouTube is all practical. So yeah, I wonder if like some of the competition in that sense. Yeah, I think one of the most disappointing things, you just don't look old. I feel old. I feel old. College before it was the millennium. Yeah, oh my God. There's a lot of things that make me feel old. Anyway, yeah, no, I think the most disappointing thing about not getting the job is it would have been one of those few ones that I could have done full time without like trying to kill myself. Because yeah, my psychology is like that. So, yeah, it's going to be hard to find a full-time job that is the same level of I could actually do this. But hey, so I wasn't grumpy because of that. I was already grumpy that day, and then that popped up, and then I was just like, yeah, well, that's what I was expecting because everything is shit in the world. So yeah, I mean, it's lucky I live with my parents and they're cool with that. It'd just be nice to have some actual spending money because also Hope's gonna have to go back to the vet. He's got his vaccinations due, and then he might need to get the x-ray done. And while they sedate him, I'm sort of thinking maybe they should also clean his teeth so they just get everything done in one go because I think he does need another teeth scaling or whatever. His teeth aren't as good as Marley's. Marley's got great teeth, but that's because he chews everything. He's a Labrador and he's kind of a little bit gay, so he likes having something in his mouth all the time. No, the gay I think he actually is a gay dog, because at the park he's much more interested in black Labradors. Black male Labradors are his favorite ones to go and hump. So anyway, you say that before you've read gamer comments? Huh? I don't know what that comment means, but I guess I will find out maybe when I publish the video. And yeah, I've got bookmarks in the video so you can skip to what part of the video you want to see if you don't want to have all the installation stuff and you just want to jump straight to the part where I actually play the game. That'll be there. Yeah, why was I talking about my brother's gay dog? Oh, because Hope probably needs to have his teeth done. Yeah, Marley is actually quite a healthy dog. But Hope has issues, and he's also got anxiety. So next vet, I'm thinking of taking Mum along, because usually I take him to the vet on my own. And I'm kind of curious because Mum often walks them at the park in the morning. There's this sort of comment from gamers on your feed. Oh, okay. I don't really know what you're getting at, but I guess we'll find out. This is really distracting. I'm gonna throw it over there. Oh, a gamer's horrible people. That's all right. I can always filter them out. I don't get many comments on my channel, so it's really easy for me to moderate them. And, you know, I don't expect huge amounts of growth. You know, it's always the same people leaving comments. It's unusual for someone new to leave a comment on my channel. So I'm not too worried. People can say horrible things. The bad ones make the rest look bad. Yeah, anyway, so, no, I'm going to take Mum. I'm going to try and organize a vet time that Mum can attend and see. Because, okay, so hang on, let me get my story straight. Mum takes dogs to park, throws ball for dogs. Dogs chase, but Hope doesn't chase. But when I go to the park with them, suddenly Hope chases the ball, and it's like he's trying to impress me. So my presence makes him behave differently at the park. And I wonder if Mum came to the vet with us, would his behavior change because Mum's there? He loves his grandma. He loves a grandma hug. Would he be more or less annoying at the vet? That's something I'd like to find out. Yeah, well, look, okay, I've been on YouTube for more than 10 years, and if some of you remember back in the early days when I didn't know what foot fetishists were, I used to get some interesting comments. I also got some rather interesting private messages. Never got any dick pics, but the things that people wrote in text, I will never repeat. And it's a little bit annoying that I still have memories of them. But hey, memories are there to help you learn from dumb things in the past. Yeah, I've seen some pretty bad ones, so I'm not too worried about what gamers are gonna say. If they're gonna be complete dickheads, I can just ban them from commenting. It's not a big deal. There was also a time when you know, I used to do that headphones thing in double speed. I used to get people from 4chan. Someone posted on 4chan, and then I'd get heaps of people coming in to do that try not to laugh challenge. And I didn't know what 4chan was at the time, so I kind of panicked and I just blocked a bunch of people. Which made it stop. And so, you know, I kind of feel like maybe I should have left them because, you know, boost my watch time. But things were different back then. I don't think watch time was as important as views. Yeah, I've dealt with plenty of stuff, and I'm not too worried, especially being a small channel that not many people watch, or not many people comment. I don't know how many people are actually watching. Like, the statistics are a little bit confusing, and I've got so many subscribers, and the subscriber number keeps going up, but the comments don't increase. And I'm like, YouTube filters for fake accounts, so why haven't they taken a chunk off mine? I don't know. I guess maybe they're real people, but hey, you know, the workload's not too bad, so I'm not too concerned. Anyway, so yeah, money. I need money to pay for my dog's vet bills. I'm going to need a new computer at one point. At least with the new computer thing, I have fallen out of love with the Microsoft Surface Studio thing, so that's good. I don't have to pay, you know, $5,000 to $7,000 on one of those. Because the hardware's so outdated. I was looking at it and I'm like, it's a pretty computer. I like that you can draw on the screen and it does that sliding down thing, but the hardware's so outdated. I want something that's going to last. God. Anyway, so I need money, and that sucks about the YouTube job. But on the other hand, it would have been a fair bit of pressure, and I would have had to make videos in a particular style. And yeah, so mixed blessings. Oh, and then I was waiting for the tradies again, and he didn't show up again that day. It was only like early morning on Wednesday before I went to bonsai that the guy showed up. And like, it was nice when he came, but it's like 2 days of waiting. Really? Oh, and then there was some other stuff that I don't know that I should talk about until things, you know, yeah, there's some stuff I won't mention that happened that day that were annoying to me. But basically, I saw someone doing a shit job that I can fix, and, you know, if you would pay me to fix it, that would be great, but if you don't want to pay me for it, I'm not gonna do it. Blah, 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 headaches, something about Nurofen. Oh, at dinner I was feeling sick, but I managed to eat anyway. I just started feeling like I needed to throw up a lot. And then, yeah, oh, it was such a bad day that, like, you know, Dad could tell I was a bit down, and he asked me if I was okay at the dinner table, and I just randomly started crying. That's one of the annoying things. Since my last depression, I got to this point where if you ask me if I'm okay and I'm not, I will just start crying, and I have no control over it. My face just does that thing. And once I start crying, I'm not able to talk. So that's why I wrote this massive post about my shit Tuesday, because it was the only way to vent it out of my head in such a way that I was then able to talk afterwards. So I wrote it all up, and then Dad came to check on me, and actually Dave came to check on me as well, because I'm at the dinner table. Everyone, like, we're one of those families where we all have dinner at the table, although we are watching the news. But we have dinner together, and so like everyone knows I'm crying at the dinner table, and it's kind of awkward, and I can't say anything. So yeah, the boys checked on me. I think Mum feels a bit awkward because in Japan, mental health is not treated the same way. She doesn't really know how to deal with it, but try and find out what Dad Harmon, he said. Huh? Okay, I'm not really sure what you're getting at there. I've never heard of that person. Yeah, anyway, so once I'd written blah, 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 then they came to talk to me separately, and I was actually able to talk. So, people ask, oh, why do you write so much stuff on Facebook? Why do you talk about all this random stuff on YouTube? It's because once I get something out of my head, it's like my brain can deal with it better. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like if it's just in my head, it kind of just and it won't leave me alone. And so once I've vented it, then I can get back to my life. Oh, yeah, no, I'm talking about replacing my PC. I still have my MacBook Pro from 2009, and that's fine. It's still running Snow Leopard, so it's heap stable. And I don't connect it to the internet. I don't need the internet for it. I just use a USB to transfer it to my PC when I want to do stuff. I like, internet-based stuff. So, MacBook Pro with my Mbox Pro. Is it Mbox 2? I don't know. It's an Mbox Pro, one of those ones. Got a couple of monitors, got my keyboard, got my fancy mic up here. That's all good. I'm talking about replacing my PC, which I use for video editing and Photoshop and just general internet and life stuff. Because it's still running Windows 7, and I didn't like it when it went to Windows 10. It just didn't work the way I wanted it to. It messed up my music settings, and I just don't think it's the right option for this computer. And then also when I'm editing stuff, the computer just slows right down. I make a cut, and it has to think about it for ages. And it just slows down everything so much. That's why I don't like making edited videos, because the computer's so slow, and I just have to wait for it to process and think about what it's doing. And when it renders, it doesn't even render properly all the time. Sometimes it'll have little glitches, and that is not because of the internet. If you've seen glitches in some of my more edited videos, it might not be because the internet's fucking up. It might actually be in the video itself because of the way my computer's rendered it. So annoying things like that. There's just all these little annoying things happening with my computer that have made me think, updating to Windows 10 isn't going to solve it. The computer has probably reached the end of its main usefulness. I mean, it's 8 years old. And then, yeah, Windows 7's going out. So I could probably keep it for maybe a year, so 6 months after the updates stop, but it's not really advisable in terms of the security. So I got to think about getting a new computer. So yeah, that's another thing I need money for. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. What else did I write on that thing? Yeah, I don't know. I just was like, I'm just really not enjoying life, and I don't know what I can do about it in any sensible way. Keeps devolving into this shitty endurance game, and I'm trapped. Okay, yeah. I was feeling pretty bad. And then at Bonsai, I was a little bit low on energy, but at least at Bonsai, there's always something to do, even if I ended up, with all this neck and shoulder pain. But yeah, no. I mean, I do find it harder to be excited about things, excited about life, interested in life, and that can sort of mess with my productivity. I have to be in the right state of mind sometimes, and it's difficult to capture that. Sorry, I'm just burping a little. Yeah, no, when I started the song, my new song, that was when I was in one of those more sort of destroyer modes or moods. And so like starting it was easy, but then finishing the lyrics, because like it sort of just dropped off. And that's another reason I haven't made more of those videos, is I just haven't felt in the right mood to be able to make those videos. But yeah, it sort of just drops off. And then, I was just like, oh my God, how do I keep going with this song, but I have got it going, and it's the right kinds of themes, and I'm pretty happy with it. Do you have a favorite virtual synthesizer when recording? There's some that I seem to go back to certain sounds. So if you listen to my Asexuality EP on Bandcamp, I think I've sort of got some sounds. And if you listen to the song playing on my trailer, that's sort of stripped down just back to one main synth. There's maybe two synths in there, one for the main and one for the bass, and then the other one I got rid of. You can sort of hear that I've got an aesthetic that I seem drawn to, and it's sort of like that old school video game-ish kind of sound, but I don't know if there's a specific one I tend to gravitate to. I use the built-in synths. I don't think I have many third-party plugins, but because I've got Logic Pro 9, and it came with so many samples and so many extra bits. And then I think I got some extra samples maybe when I was at music school, and I've sort of just collected things. People gave me other bits of software. I don't know which ones are legit and which ones were pirated. People put stuff on my computer. I didn't ask questions back then. Yeah, I don't know. I bought my Ableton Live one, which I've also got. Like Ableton Live came with extra licenses. So I think I installed it on this computer. I just don't use it very much. And that has some interesting synths. I find Logic Pro the easiest to use, probably because it's the first proper DAW I learned on. But yeah. I think the main thing I like about Logic Pro is the way it handles vocals, the way it does comping. So when you record vocals, you record a number of takes, and with Logic Pro, if you record it on the same track, it records over it, but then it gives you a drop-down menu of all the takes you've taken, and then you can just highlight the bits that were good from each, and it just sort of puts it together, and the edits are pretty seamless, and then you can go in and tweak the edits like a little bit better afterwards if you hear some issues, but usually there's not too much going on, like not too much to fix. Whereas with Pro Tools, which was sort of the industry standard software, I think people are starting to change, but when you record vocals on that, comping it is such a pain in the butt, because you have to like select a bit and then pop it up and then select another bit and then pop it up onto the main track, and then you listen to it and then you're like, oh shit, I don't actually want that one actually. So then you got to select another bit and then pop it up, and it's just not as easy as just sliding a thing and everything's automatically there. So that's why I like Logic Pro 9. Yeah, for the vocals. And then compositionally, I think Pro Tools maybe has gotten better, but back 10 years ago when I was learning the different software, the two main ones we learned were Logic and Pro Tools. Logic was sort of, I think, started as more of a MIDI-based DAW, so it's better for like composition type stuff, whereas Pro Tools started life more as a recording-based tool, so it's better for recording and not so good at the MIDI kinds of things. And I was in the composition degree, so I focused more on the one that are we still live? Are we actually live? It tells me we're live, but do I believe it? No, I don't, because it's a pain in the butt. Right. So I don't know how much of that actually got onto the air, but yeah. Logic, supposed to be better for composition, Pro Tools better for recording, and then these days there's a whole bunch more, but back then those were the main options. Ableton Live back then more seen as like the one that you use for making dance music because it's good for looping. There are also some things that Ableton Live does that I like quite a lot, but I don't use it very much. I think on my Asexuality EP, the only song I used it on, actually I don't remember which one. I don't remember which one I used it on. Do I have the backups on here? No. I'd have to go into my Kofa files, and that was in Capstone. And is there a backup? Maybe not. I must have backed it up somewhere else. I can't be bothered to open that up. I'm pretty sure. Well, I know on Rainbow Death Rays EP. So if you go to Rainbow Death Rays Bandcamp, I used Ableton to produce the electronics for Carousel. Carousel, I think, is Ableton Live. The rest, the electronics are done in Logic Pro. All of it, no. I mainly use Logic sometimes, and then sometimes I think what I do with Ableton, if I'm using Ableton, what I'll do is I'll rewire it into Logic Pro. So Logic Pro is the master program and Ableton becomes the slave program, and I wire it up, and oh my god, it's distracting seeing me go in a delay. Ableton Live is my fave. Yeah, no, there are things I like about Ableton, but I just find the Logic Pro interface makes more sense to me. One of the things about Logic Pro though is it's such a pain in the butt to use an arpeggiator. So if I'm going to use an arpeggiator, I will probably use Ableton instead. So yeah, I just can't remember on Asexuality EP. I'm pretty sure there was one that I used. Maybe I wrote about it on Patreon. I'm pretty sure there was one that I used that was definitely Ableton rewired into Logic. But yeah, no, it depends a bit. I definitely know on the Rainbow Death Ray EP it was Carousel. Anyway, so those are the things that I use. I've also got a copy of Reason, which I think might be a dodgy copy because someone gave that to me. I don't remember. But I don't, yeah, I don't know, it was so long ago. And I don't use Reason really. I think I tend not to use things that are pirated if I don't have to. I think maybe one of my drum samples might have been pirated. I don't remember. So people put stuff on my old computer and I just didn't pay attention. But I do have this other weird drum thing, so I can't remember which is which. But hey, yeah, that's me in music making, I guess. My favorite's Logic Pro for sure. Let me just close this again now that we're actually connected. Anyway, so Tuesday was a shit day, but I'm doing better. Wednesday, when I was doing bonsai, I was pretty low energy and just still tired. Yesterday, though, mostly just in pain, a little bit grumpy in the morning, but I think I did do some singing practice. And if I'm doing singing practice, that will either make me feel a little bit better or it's a sign that I'm already feeling better. And then today, I think I'm doing all right because I did some more singing. Just tired and in pain, and the pain makes it hard to concentrate, I gotta say. So yeah, kind of didn't do very much before coming onto stream. So that's what's been going on with me. We've covered a lot in this live stream today. So at any minute now, Mikey could come home, but we'll keep going. Is there anything anyone wanted to ask, suggest, whatever? Yeah. Oh, let me just have a drink. Anyway, I feel like there's a bunch of stuff that I want to do. It's just like I can't concentrate very well. And one of the annoying things is I think of things that I could have been doing after I've already procrastinated the time away. So like, I'll be feeling low energy and I'll just be on watching YouTube or whatever. And then afterwards be like, I could have used that time to just do some reading. I finally did a bit of reading yesterday, I think, because I couldn't really do very much else. But yeah, no. Reading, and then I haven't painted anything this month. I'm finding that really hard to paint something once a month. That was one of my goals. Yeah, I don't know. And then there's so many videos that I want to get to. I've got so many video ideas. There was one, like, people keep giving me advice. I think it was maybe after I messed up my hormones, that video, and people keep giving me advice about like psychology things, and that annoys me because it's all the same advice that I keep hearing on repeat when people find out I've had depression or I'm feeling not so great, and I'm just like, stop. And I wanted to make a video about that, but I feel like the time's already passed. I could still go back to make it. I've got this huge file, this huge folder full of video ideas, and sometimes I'm just not in the mood, and some of them I feel like I need to write out dot points just to make sure I cover everything, and then I can't be bothered to make the dot points, so I don't end up making the video. And then I know some of you guys wanted to see more of my shelf tours. So at some point I should do that. It's just that they're also dusty again. Originally when I was going to do shelf tours, I dusted everything, but then I didn't make the videos because I was trying to do them all at once, and it just got a little bit out of hand. So yeah, now they're dusty again. Oh, keeping things clean is a pain, isn't it? And I think I've got too much stuff. I feel like I should get rid of some of it, try and sell it off on eBay. But do people still use eBay for that? I never have a question ready at this time. I'm just waiting for the usual sniper ending. Oh my god, where I just sort of like disappear, hey? I mean, suppose I could disappear early of my own free will, but yeah. I do cleaning every Sunday, but it's more like vacuuming. So what I actually on Sundays I have a shower, so I clean myself. I fold my clothes, so that you know how like you can just have your pile of clothes building in a washing basket or something. No, I fold mine every Sunday, put them away in the drawers because my drawers are like all nicely made ever since I came back from Japan with a gazillion clothes. Sorry, I was just looking at my ants. And then I will sort of clear things up so that I can vacuum my floor, but just like the edge, I don't clear everything out. It's just like the obvious spots I vacuum. I also clean my bathroom, so clean the toilet and, spray things and so on. And then I also do puppy maintenance, so usually that means brushing my dog and if he needs like a trim around the bum so that he doesn't have that bum problem again, or around his boy bit so he doesn't have the boy problem again. Maybe trim his nails and so on. It depends on what he needs doing, but at least brush him. And that is my Sunday is cleaning day, and I've been doing it, I don't know how many in a row. I've done it for more than a year. How are the ants? So the smaller ant jar's dead. The bigger one's still going though. I do have some ant video clips. I just haven't put them together and posted them. I actually have in my videos to edit folder. I have a lot of like garbage stuff. So there's a bit of stuff with me and Mikey that I don't know that I'm gonna post because it's just me playing with Mikey and it's not that interesting. And yeah. And then I've got a bunch of dog videos that I could edit together. Maybe as like one mega compilation of dog clips. Which would be more for me as an archival thing so that if anything happens to my computer, I still have it on YouTube. And then I've got a bunch of ant clips going as far back as... That one looks like May, so I've got clips going for two months. They're just little snippets, I think. What, that one's 2 minutes, that one's 2 minutes. So I might chuck them all together and give you an update on it. But no one really likes my animal or ant videos on YouTube. Only a handful of you guys watch it. Otherwise, they're not that popular. So they're not really a priority for me to edit because I don't worry too much about popularity. But it is nice when people actually watch your videos and leave feedback and so on. So with some of those ones that don't get as much traction, it's a bit like, oh, why go to that effort? Like at some point I will go to the effort, but it's just not an urgency thing. Have you heard that Trump won again? The Dems are looking so bad, they just can't win. Oh my god, the Democrats. So like, I don't know a whole lot from a time investment point of view, yeah. Yeah, and I want to work on these Let's Plays now, and for that I do have to use my fancy software, because the Windows Movie Maker can't do the 2 screens at once thing. So yeah, and that fancier program takes a little bit more to render. Also, the trailer and also the first episode are at 30 frames per second. Usually I run it through Windows Movie Maker after the fancy program has done it, and that drops it down to 25 frames per second, but I don't know. I mean, for the old style graphics, you probably don't need 30 frames per second, but I'm sort of like, well, I did the first 2 things in 30 frames. Should I keep everything 30 frames? But then it takes ages to upload on Australian internet, so it's a bit like, okay, so yeah, American politics. Democrats do seem on the road to total self-destruction. I've stopped watching any live TV because of Trump and reading news headlines. Okay, so like, I have not been keeping up with American politics that much. There is a few things I follow. Sam B I sometimes watch, and Bill Maher I sometimes watch on YouTube. Over on Facebook occasionally I get clips from Jim Jeffries, who's the Aussie guy who says cunt all the time. Jim Jeffries, The Daily Show, occasionally Trevor Noah, although I like his between the scenes more than his regular segments. Yeah, I think those are the main ones that pop up. I stopped watching Seth Meyers and Colbert, just is too much. And then I see and then I see clips or snippets. I call them clippets Oh, brain, what are you doing, brain? Yeah, I see snippets on our Australian news channels, and depending on Channel 7's fucking trash, but the ABC is a little bit better. Anyway, so I'm just picking up snippets of what's going on in America, and I just don't understand. The Democrats are such a useless party. It's so weird. Like, they just keep rolling over and dying, and it's just the most bizarre thing. Because in Australia, the two parties, like, they will actively do stuff and try to get elected, and they have much more. I mean, they can be childish, but their changes sometimes feel meaningful. I don't know. But they just feel like they're actually having a contest. Whereas in America, the Democrats just keep rolling over and the Republicans just don't give a shit. So it's like, what is it? What is the point of American politics? It's so bizarre. I don't understand it. Like, why bother? And this whole Mueller thing that's just been on, I'm like, what were the Democrats expecting? The guy is not interested in giving an opinion. He's only telling you stuff that he's already written. You're not going to get anything else. And like, there's other things they could have pursued, but no, the two parties decided to focus on their own ideas, and they didn't really get into the meat of what he actually wanted them to notice. And it's just like, why even bother with this? What is the point? American politics, holy shit. And it's like, it's kind of like when all those old guys in Congress, I think it's called, they're interrogating Mark Zuckerberg or whatever about Facebook, and they don't even understand how the internet works. I'm just like, why are you guys even bothering? That's how they want it. Everyone fights with each other, and the government does whatever they want. It's like in America. Yeah, but see, as I understand it, to me it looks like the Democrats genuinely want to change things. They're just incredibly bad at it and incredibly weak. And if there's any sign that they might be criticized, they just fall over. Whereas the Republicans, they feel a little bit more self-serving and like they don't give a shit and they will just do anything for power and no one will stop them because the Democrats just keep rolling over, and it's like, well, just... It's so dumb. It's so, and like, the things that Trump's been allowed to get away with. I'm just like, you guys are letting this happen. This is hilarious. They're definitely lesser of the two evils. Do you mean the Democrats or the Republicans? I don't know. To me, the Republicans seem crazy. They seem like they are more about their own interests. I don't think they really care about, okay, yeah, I don't think the Republicans really care about the American people. I think they're just about themselves. Whereas the Democrats claim to be about the American people, but they suck at it, and they have no guts. They keep letting things happen. There's a faction now in the Democrats that is a bit more vocal about standing up, but they have no power. It's just really bizarre to me. And like what Boris Johnson is now the PM of Britain. I think that's weird too. I think it's weird. Like, this is the kind of stuff that wouldn't happen in Australia because, I don't know, I feel like it's because we have compulsory voting, so you can't get crazies elected so easily. The craziest person I think we've elected in recent times would have been Tony Abbott, but he's actually quite not nearly as extreme as these people that America and Britain are electing. So there's Donald Trump. Boris Johnson is British Donald Trump. And then Australian Donald Trump is Clive Palmer. He spent millions of dollars. He's just like... And he didn't win a single seat because that's how Australia's system is. Like, you can try and buy your way into politics, but it doesn't work. I prefer self-serving leaders rather than died idealists. Yeah, I don't know. There's some stuff in the Democrats that I'm just like, oh my God, don't elect those guys. They sound like they're just dumb. I think especially the ones that are too far to the left, because there's some, like, the problem with some of the idealistic groups is when they become extremists, and like right-wing extremists are bad enough, but I feel like they kind of have a concept that other people don't like them, that other people see them as doing the wrong thing, blah blah. Right-wing extremists, because they will be openly racist and so on. I think they understand that that's what they're doing, whereas with the far left, they think that they're doing the right thing. So when they try and do things that seem a bit dictatorish or even racists, they claim they're not racist, but sometimes the way they behave is. But because they think they're doing the right thing, I find that a little bit more scary than some of the extreme rights. I mean, it depends how extreme you mean, because on the ends they're equally bad, I think. But somewhere in between, sometimes the far left is actually scarier, and they're the ones who are more likely to be Democrats, although they'll try the Greens, and the Greens don't work in America. Trump is a complete goofball, but the Dems can't win. I would prefer anarchy, but I'm crazy. No, I don't think anarchy would. When I first went to uni, I hung out with a bunch of anarchists, and it's just like, oh my god, you guys need a reality check. It's just, yeah, that's not how things work. It's not how things are ever going to work. It's cute ideas. It's like communism. Cute ideas doesn't work in the real world. This sort of democracy, capitalism kind of thing is the best system we've been able to get to work, I think. It's not perfect, and there's different levels of it. Yeah, I don't know. I find it weird that America is so scared of socialism, because I guess there are different levels. Like America already is like a democracy, capitalist society, but it has that social safety net, so it already has kind of it. And I'm like, it does work, it just doesn't do what people think it does. And regulated capitalism, unregulated capitalism is worse. Yeah, I think you need to let the free market do a certain amount, but governments need to pick up the slack and also make sure the free market doesn't get out of control. I think that to me, that's what the role would be. You allow a degree of freedom, but without getting too out of hand. You need to have a balance. I think if you go completely to capitalism, it's unbalanced, but if you go completely to socialism, communism, blah, 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 it's completely unbalanced in the other direction. Capitalism and democracy work so well because we get choices and there is accountability. I can't even speak anymore. Yeah, I think it's a balance. And, not all forms of capitalism and democracy are the same. There's different components and different ways that they're balanced, and there's no perfect one, but some work better than others. Get the illusion of choice. No, I think we get some reasonable choices, but there are some things that are harder to do. Fox News is the voice of reason. That's proof we live in a parallel universe. Fox News, I'm not a fan of. I mean, it's not even relevant to Australia most of the time, but no, ABC News in Australia, I'm pretty happy with. People do think it has, well, right-wing people think the ABC has a left-wing bias. Left-wing people think the ABC has a right-wing bias, and whoever's in government thinks that the ABC is out to get them. So to me, that's a sign to me that the ABC is doing all right. They have a shit choice of comedians, except for that Tom guy, he's fun. But otherwise, I feel like the ABC is pretty decent. Balance, because the ABC is the government funded channel, and they have to be as objective as possible. Like, they can present opinions, but their overall mandate is to balance it and be a bit more objective. And I feel like out of all the channels we have in Australia anyway, they have the best balance. I mean, Channel 7 is fucking trash. We don't even watch Channel 9. Channel 10 is trying to get the youth guys, but yeah. Sky News is heaps right wing. I don't know. When everyone dislikes you, you must be doing something right. Yes, that's my theory with the whole the TV stations. Fox News is quite extreme in the way in its biases. So yeah, I don't know why people think that it's I don't know where your comment about the voice of reason is coming out. That I guess we would live in a parallel universe if that was. There's no objectivity in American news. Yeah, America spends a lot of time trying to sell products, and instead of reporting the news, they try and sensationalize it. So, and I think that might be why the ABC does all right, because the commercial stations in Australia are trying to sell the news and sell the advertising alongside it, whereas the ABC has no advertising apart from advertising its own programs. So I think that's part of the thing, News shouldn't be out there to make a profit. I think what the commercial stations used to do is they'd have the news as a loss leader, so they'd try and present things more objectively, and that would get you to watch the channel, and then hopefully you'd watch the rest with all the advertising. No ads on public TV. It's complicated. I mean, I think you would have the news and still have the ads, but you wouldn't be sensationalizing it so much. I don't know. Do these channels not realize that some people value objectivity and all that? I don't know, but sensationalism seems to get the money, so that's what they do. Whereas the ABC doesn't have to do that, and I feel like, they're not perfect. There may be a slight left-wing bias on some issues, but overall I feel like they're fairly balanced and they try not to put an opinion on it, except 7:30. 7:30 is a trash program. 7:30 is the program they play after the news, and it's like a current affairs thing, and they sometimes, like they're for a while they had this reporter who has an autistic kid. So anytime there was a report on autism, she was the one who was doing it, and she would present really biased views. And because I've grown up around severely autistic people and have a different perspective, I was just like, wow, your reports are shit. There is so much bias in it. So there is some bias on it, but when it comes to the news is pretty damn good. Does Australian public TV have ads or not? So the ABC is the main government-run channel. They don't have ads apart from advertising their own programs. So you will watch a whole show and there will be no ads in it. And then maybe at the end they'll have like a sort of filler stuff. And then they'll go on to the next program with no ads. With the SBS, which specializes in different languages, so they'll have like the Chinese news, the Indian news, and then they'll have programs in different languages and so on. That does have ads. It didn't always have ads, but they brought them in and they were trying to make them longer. It's a real shame, but yeah. So I think they're limited in the amount of ads they can put on the SBS, but they do have them these days. Corporate interests have found their way into public broadcasting. All our publicly funded TV has ads. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, so the current government, the Liberal government, they're the right. For those of you Americans, our Liberal government is actually the right-leaning party. They keep wanting to cut the funding of the ABC, although I think when Labor was in government, they didn't exactly give them a whole lot of money either. But the Liberals tend to be the ones who want to take money away from the ABC, and I think they'd be the ones more likely to push for ads to appear on the ABC, but that'd be such an unpopular thing. They'd probably lose government if they did it. But yeah, they keep cutting the budget for the ABC. I don't think like the budget goes down. I think they just slow the growth of it. And I've noticed that it has affected the ABC. So sometimes, like, when you're watching the news, it pops up the name of someone. Sometimes it'll be wrong, or it'll be slow to pop up, or it'll be mixed up with one that's meant to pop up later. They do that kind of thing. And then, oh my God, the way they do at least the weather report is on a single screen. For a while they had it on these 9 screens, and I'm just like, why? And the timing of the slides in the weather, like sometimes they'd skip something and you're just like, oh my God, get your shit together, guys. And sometimes the camera would be slightly wonky, and it just, pay the ABC. They're a good channel, they criticize every government. Get over it. Get over it and just fund them properly, for fuck's sake. Anyway, that's my little rant. But yeah, no, our publicly funded, the main channel is ad-free, and they've got like ABC2 and all that with all the digital channels these days. And then iView, which is all free as well. I don't know if they play any ads at the beginning, but if they do play ads, it's probably just for the ABC or ABC related things. Yeah, no, it's pretty good. And they will get shows from like the BBC and so on and just play it in one big chunk. If they bring over a TV show that used to have ads, they'll just play it, like say it was a 1 hour show, they'll just play the full 45 minutes, and you don't have any of the ads, so it feels like it's actually 45 minutes instead of padded out to an hour with ads. So yeah, that's Australian TV. And then the other major channels, you've got Channel 7, Channel 9, Channel 10. I think that's all. Yeah, I don't think there are any other ones. I think there's like, if you go into the outback, like to rural areas, there's sometimes other channels like Win or something, but those were connected to Channel 9, and I think they're dying these days. Because, things like Netflix, Foxtel didn't really mess things up here because, Foxtel started off being like, oh, get TV without ads, but then they brought ads on it anyway, and you're like, what am I paying for? And then these days you've got Netflix, and I think Netflix has changed things more. I think there's also Stan, and maybe a couple others, but Netflix is the main one in Australia. Anyway, so we've got 3 commercial channel stations, whatever you call them. Yeah, Channel 10 is struggling the most, I think, and they try to appeal to the youth the most. and then Channel 7 and Channel 9 try and fight each other. In the end, it's best to stay away from the news, it's all biased. No, the ABC is quite good just for the facts. The ABC regular news is quite good. The 7:30 program afterwards, not so good. It's very hit and miss. I hate when I go to the movies and pay for a ticket and they still make you watch ads before the movie. Oh, it depends, because sometimes you're running late. If you're someone who gets there on time, sucks. But yeah, no, if people are running late, it's alright. Although when it goes for half an hour, it used to not go for so long, I thought. Anyway. And if there are any good movies on, my brother wanted to see one with me. Because, you know, I've been so grumpy and, you know, I should probably get out of the house a bit. And he's like, oh, we can go and see something. But, I don't know if there's any good movies on at the moment. I've seen Godzilla. Oh, is Mikey home? I think that might be it, guys. So we got a good 2 hours out of that. Yeah, okay, well, I guess I'll say goodbyes. They're still coming up the pathway, I think. But I'll say goodbye for now. I will post my Free Space 2 video tomorrow morning, I guess. And then I will make more of them, and we can watch me flying badly, trying to shoot people in space. See you guys, and sorry for the interruptions of our internet.